Hi everybody, I'm Stefan for a-tutsplus.com, and this is the second part of our first episode where we are going to continue creating our first element. So let's select again the ellipse tool and double click to create a circular shape. And now let's scale this down and reduce the stroke size to 1. And after that we are going to duplicate this and again open the properties for the ellipse and the stroke this time, and we are going to increase the size of the stroke quite a bit. And let's see, we need to position it around here, and let's reduce the opacity to see. And we need to create this bar here with some buttons and stuff, so we need to create a matte for this, and I'm going to use the guides here. It will be easier for us, and there are some different ways to create this kind of a segments, but the fastest and easiest way is to create just a simple matte. So we are going to position our guides here in order to be easier for us to snap our mask to them. And now let's create another solid and let's make it the full size of our project, and let's call it matte. And now let's see, we need the matte to select first the rectangular mask tool and then start to draw some shapes here. And basically we need the mask to cover only this part here. And as you can see, the mask is snapping to the guides. And you have to be careful when there are two guides which are very near next to each other. So let's create a few more masks, and I think we are ready. Now let's sew our layer, set the opacity to 50%, and let's choose alpha matte. And basically we don't need this element. Actually we don't need this mask right here, but we need to create another one here and move it a bit. And as you can see, this is our element, and we need to type some letters here, and I'm going to use Century Gothic font for this and reduce the size to 10 and place the letters like so. Just duplicate the layers and every small detail make the design look really complex at the end, so you have to be careful with the small details. And after we are ready with our letters, let's see, we need to create another circle, and we need to trim it in order to create these animated lines here. So first of all, I'm going to scale the circle down just like so, and put some guides here in order to know where to set the circles, and just add a trim paths modifier to this, and actually we are only interested about here, and we are going to set this to, let's say, 50%, or maybe let's set this to 60, and just out click and type WIGO 2,15 or maybe 10, so we get this nice movement. And now we need to just duplicate and flip the layer and create another type layer and type the OK type here. Then we need to create another circular element, so I'm going to just double click, unselect all the layers, double click the ellipse mask tool and just size the stroke here and increase the size of the stroke to about 25, and we are going to trim the stroke again, so I'm going to use the trim paths modifier once again, and 64 or 63, and we need to get something like that, and just duplicate the layer and rotate it 180 degrees, so we get another one right here. And we need to animate the rotation of these elements, so we're going to just type WIGO 2,20 in order to get some nice movement here. Another element that we need to create is another circle, so we're going to just double click again and set this time the stroke size to 1 and just reduce the size to around here, and again use the trim paths modifier, and we are going to trim our stroke. And then just hit R to review the rotation and type WIGO 2,90 for example, and this way we are getting this nice animation here. We need to create also these dots right here, so we are going to select the type tool and just type two dots and change to Arial and set the font to bold and increase the size to 50 and reduce the distance between the dots and probably set this to 40. And we need just to hit T for the opacity, set a keyframe for 100% opacity, move 20 frames forward, and set a keyframe for 0 opacity. And now we need to copy this keyframe, move 20 frames forward, and paste it, and just make the keyframes toggle hot keyframes, and use the whoop out expression in order to whoop this. As you can see, it's whooped, and now we need just to duplicate the layer, and move it right here, and we are ready with that. And another element we need to create is another circle, and just scale it down and place it right here. And now we need to trim it, so we are going to use the trim paths once again, and let's see, we need to trim it to this point and to this point here, and we need to go to the stroke and click the dash option, so we get some nice dashes here. And let's see if we can set them to 3 or 6 maybe, or 7. I think the default of 10 was okay. And with the layer selected, we need to select our pen tool and draw a shape here, and this way we get this nice shape on a single layer. So let's select all the layers and pre-compose them and call them 3. And in this part we created this segment and animated some things, and as you can see, this is what we created so far, a very cool, nice element. And in the second part of the first episode, we are going to, in the third part, excuse me, we are going to continue creating these elements here. And if we scale down the image, as you can see, the rest is some pretty easy stuff that we are going to cover very quickly. So that's it for this part. In the next part we are going to continue and finish up this element and move to the next parts of the interface, which will cover some very interesting techniques. Once again, I'm Stefan for a-tutsplus.com, and we'll see you next time.